Mhm. Happy Sunday. Grape DAO call day. I I'm currently, since I'm the only person on stage, I'm just gonna monologue. So I'm currently in Filiatra, which is a beach town in the Peloponnese of Greece. You guys might hear all the cicadas around me. Had an interesting conversation around like tradition, and I was thinking about how what we've built is kind of like a tradition. You know that I don't know. It's almost like I gotta think about it some more before I put it into words. But yeah, we've built this really cool Sunday tradition. I like it. I like it. Maybe Sunday just happens to be the best day for them. Let's see. Sorry to hear. Wishing you well. What's what's wrong? What's wrong, Favor? I think we all wish you well. If there's anything we can help with, you know. But hope everything's okay, Favor. Okay, I'm more than fine continuing my monologuing, and this will be an interesting recording. Interesting DAO call recording. Dean's thoughts. Well, I have to have a dialogue now.
Hey, didn't want to interrupt you there. If you want to share your thoughts, you're free to do so.
I feel like I reliably share my thoughts.
No, had to get something to drink.
What'd you say about drinking?
I had to get something, so
Oh,
I
okay.
could just listen. But now I'm here.
Yeah. Let's. We should probably wait for some other people to join us on stage to talk
Yeah.
about some of the agenda stuff. In the meantime, oh wow, we got a lot
Hello.
of people on stage. Hello.
Hey guys.
Yeah, it's like opening the
Pod-
floor to dance. People won't join unless there are a couple of
right.
one.
Yes. Like that one video of the guy in San Francisco where he's by himself. It's like people put like Puerto Rico, or sorry, not Puerto Rico. They say, yeah, Puerto Rico on top of him. What was it called? El Salvador, as if like El Salvador is the Bitcoin. And then other people come. Nigeria comes in and starts
Yeah.
dancing, and then everybody's dancing. Potrock, I wanted to, I've already told you the compliment before, but everybody was super impressed with the workshop, the way you organized it. They really enjoyed it. So, really, thank you for bringing that energy and that structure to Grape. And I look forward to doing more of those workshops. It was great.
Thanks. Yeah, it was really cool to do it. I mean, I have a couple more up my sleeve too if you guys want to keep going at it. But the results are really cool. I think we can talk about them a little bit later during the call. If you haven't seen
Definitely.
the results, yeah, you can go into the DAO chat and there's a link there.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Dynite.
Yeah, I made a copy of the results and I was just color coding it before Taki got his hands on it.
Oh, cool.
You guys want to wait like another 4 minutes, or should we just start going through some of those things that we said? Hey, add this to the agenda, and this and that.
I mean,
Maybe.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I go. The video Dynite posted with the gun flow we could talk about, and then we could also talk about our discourse thread with tying membership emissions to voting activity.
Yeah, sound like great topics.
Dynite, would you be comfortable sharing with us what this video was about, what your thinking was?
I mean, it was just the user experience mostly. The feedback of what you were trying to do with verification. It was straightforward. Especially if we're trying to have people join the GAN Discord. For that project that I showed a video of earlier, you join the Discord. There's a subcategory that says Add Wallet, and the entire process is just run. You get constant feedback. You get a feedback after each step, and it was pretty straightforward. A couple of steps, hard to mess up, which I think I really liked. And it works across, I wouldn't know much about, how to build it. I can contact that team for more information. But for me, it was an enjoyable experience, and it works across. If I join another Cardano NFT project that's using the same verification, it runs its intervals every 15 minutes. Again, it's not. I'm not sure on the scalability or what numbers they're running, but you know, I would love to have something like that for great. A set and forget.
Yeah, sounds good. I just posted the link to your video again in the live chat, and Billy from Gun is here. I pinged him really quick.
First of all, Dinah, thank you for sharing the video. When I initially saw it, I didn't understand what we were looking at, because it's a bot which basically guides you through each step of the way, right? That's what you liked.
Yep. Hard to fuck up.
So to get to step number 2, you have to do step number 1 versus reading a message and clicking a link. And the way we're doing it.
I had you don't have to take away your wallet. I did that just to show it because I had already had my wallet linked. So all you need to do is you join, you add wallet, if I'm understanding your question correctly, and you can add multiple wallets if you wanted to your Discord account. So it's just a quick 1-2, and it verifies it by you sending a transaction or signing a transaction. But and it does support ledger support, I believe, but that answer your question?
It's very cool. They're using the Discord native buttons, and the bot, the messages they're private. So the only issue with this is that for existing servers, they would need to support the permission on the channel to give the permission to interact with a bot in a channel.
So you're talking about projects that are already using GAN, we would need to go in and remind them or have them.
You might need to change some permissions if the bot doesn't have the ability to to do those kind of responses.
Mm-hmm. Do we have the numbers of which projects are using this the most right now? Or I guess the project, do we have could we pull that data? Because what we could do essentially as well is do the same method that we did last time. Either have our mods, we formulate a list from that traffic data and go and double check it ourselves or visit each of these discords. That's what I would recommend. And honestly, having that permission is a simple thing to enact. Anyways, it's not like a less than a minute to do.
I can tell you that we have 65 holders of at least one GAN.
Yeah. And Billy, what would it take to just have this work across all of it? You know,
You mean to rewrite the way we do verification on the bot side?
yeah. You see, that's what I'm not sure about. What is it? Just not worth revisiting, or is it something that honestly we can create a bounty or explore to have funds to redo verification?
So yeah, we did get a lot of feedback from Dean's List. There are 43, including what you're suggesting, proposals to improve the experience.
Yeah.
And I think what we can do, it doesn't have to be on this DAO call, but I think it would be a good exercise to do something similar to what Patrick did with reputation, is take all those 44 points and see what everybody considers as the most important things to get ironed out first.
Yeah.
What you're suggesting is a completely different user experience, but it's Discord specific. I would personally want to try out what you are referring to on Cardano to see how much easier it is. I think the part that you really like the most is that you can't continue unless you do XYZ.
Yeah, it's hard to fuck up. It's Discord native. Everyone, you have to verify. You already have to go to Discord. Um,
And
with
just to make something clear, I think you're already aware that on Grape you don't need to verify multiple times. You verify once.
yeah, but I thought you have to react to the emoji on each new server that you join.
Well, that is a design decision that we believe that if you design your Discord server in a way that you cannot see anything,
Hmm.
you use this channel for human verification.
I
But
see.
if the Discord server is not set up in the way that we think is right and it's not communicated and educated properly, we could have a toggle that allows the community to automatically verify on joining a server. So if you join a server the first time, it's going to be like clicking that emoji.
Yeah, I mean, so that's something we can implement on our side, right? Like
Yeah, like that we could
across
do,
the
but
board.
we could do across the board on all the servers if we allow the communities to have that option. Yes.
I see. Yeah, and I briefly got to look at the analysis from Dean's List. Um, but yeah, just seeing the steps given, the difference between the two, you know, simple is best. So the pictures I just linked right now, you see it, it's understandable, hard to fuck up. But with Grape, it's just people are going to see that. Again, like this might have been mentioned in the feedback. I haven't had a chance to dive into it as well, but it was a conversation that was started on Grape Chat, and I just thought I'd give that as my 2 cents.
Let me just say one more thing regarding the method we're using and why we went like this route versus the other methods.
Hmm.
Um, So reactions in general are, I think, it could, feel like a poor user experience, but they could be very powerful. And we could eventually even look at reputation and reactions, and like use like an internal currency in the community, and based on the reactions they get to a post, you like there's things you can measure with reactions which you can't do passively. Like even in our own community, if you look at a chat and there are reactions, sometimes you can understand like the sentiment.
Hmm.
So in the case of verification, um, the reaction, the benefit is that you could trigger that role assignment instantly. While on the other solutions, it's usually not instant, right? You need to wait until like some job runs.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a better user experience. Like I like to be able to get my role immediately. Like when I join the server, it would be cool to immediately get the role and not have to wait.
Yeah. I know previously, I think the reason why we didn't do that is because we were verifying too much and the traffic to pull the data was too much. But
We
then now
still have
as we transition,
even if everybody doesn't hold the GAN token, we still have active communities they're using Grape. So we have all those wallets,
okay.
and we do check a lot of servers every day, regardless of if they're holding the GAN token or not. The GAN token gives them the benefit of the 24-hour role removal and support through our through our Grape Access Network Discord.
Hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I think the next step to do would to be a similar fashion what we did with Potrack. Maybe have the mod set up a meeting, and then go through a list, create, and then kind of prioritize what we'd want to attack or what we'd want to solve first, and anyone else who would be interested.
I fully agree, and we could set a specific date. We could be Thursday or any day in this week.
Hmm.
And whoever's interested could participate. We can make an announcement on this Discord. We can make an announcement on the Grape Access Discord too. And we could do it on this community so it's open to more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, best way would be to also get some people from other servers who are using Grape to get some feedback.
But since we already have like at least 40 plus suggestions, I think we could see like what would be the number one thing everybody considers we should tackle and take it from there. And like if we prioritize, like should we focus on the Discord experience? Should we focus on the dashboard experience? Should we like which parts are like most important to work on first?
Yeah.
It's a good start, but I think this feedback is a bit biased because everyone obviously is also a great member. So we need to take this into account. And I mentioned it while the feedback came in. And so at the end, I think it was Scientist Joe or Cavicon, I don't remember.
Have it done. I
They
think have it
also they
done.
also tried to like compare the Grape experience to other validation services, so or access services. And I think that's also a viable way to take. So like have a look at what people really like or what they think they like, and then look at how we're doing at it.
Yep, I fully agree. So I think next steps are that workshop, and setting up a date and then announcing it.
Yeah, good plan.
Yeah, because I think we all have enough of the feedback that we've heard, here and there, whether it's from
Yeah.
Whatever side project on Solana. I think we've heard enough to at least prioritize ourselves within the list of the 43 to see what we want to prioritize.
Let's start making it better, then we can look at the whole GAN situation again. So, Dana and Billy, will you both work on the date and then ping the DAO?
Yeah, I'm thinking next Thursday, just right off the bat. That's when we did Potrax last time. I'm thinking the same time, if everyone's okay with that. Just
I think I'm okay with Thursday.
okay, same time, which I believe was at this time, right? On Thursday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was at this time.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Then let's continue with the next proposed thing, which is talking about this discourse thread. And the TLDR of it is that we want to remove is wrong. We want to rework the membership emissions. We want to change them from you get your membership emissions just for depositing on realms, for example, to you have to also vote. And if you don't vote, then you don't count as active, and then you don't get emissions. There was one valid criticism by Coffee Attack, who mentioned that if people are unsure what they should vote for, yes or no, for example, and we make this change, link the emissions to the voting, then people will just click whatever, and this will skew our voting results. So I propose we also add the option to abstain to our votes, that people who can, we're not sure, still can vote and are counted as active. And Coffee Attack, at least, he liked it. So I think this is a framework we can discuss now and maybe move forward with. And it was also proposed by our goat here at first.
Hey, on the abstain, would we be asking realms to make an abstain button?
Can't you? I just thought you can add whatever vote outcomes you want to your vote. Is this not how it works?
Like, I think the idea should be that as we continue to evolve emissions and membership, we should think about how much can be done on chain. So if we looked at abstaining as an option in the current schema, we would just say, okay, if the person has deposited to realms but did not vote, that is ultimately abstaining.
But that's flawed, right?
Which is
I just want to just add one more thing to what Dean is saying. I mean, and I agree fully with Dean that
to realms.
the abstain option is clearly evident by not voting. But I think what Dynite wants to achieve is basically get more people to vote. So instead of like penalizing people that don't vote or enforcing them, you should always try to use like positive reinforcement to do like something better. And you can't force everybody to do the maximum effort. So it could be an additional pool for the people that are actually voting every month. We can also look at that option.
I'm a bit irritated. Maybe you can explain.
So we currently, I mean, if you look at the membership model from the beginning, especially the members that bought Grape from the beginning, they a lot of them have still held, and a great position that they got in, let's say in October. Today you would be able to get like a much bigger, like, great position. So their voting power is already weak, and I don't think it's a really good idea to decide that 60 people are more important than 2,000, because we decided to change the rules, 9 months later. That part doesn't stick well with me. We
If we change
already we already
emissions, or what do you mean?
we made a proposal on Realms, and we said that in order to qualify, you just need to stake your grape on Realms. It was one step. And we got our staked Realms from 3 million or 4 million in January up to 15 million in Realms. So that's a massive success. And one of the reasons why that happened was because the emissions moved to Realms. But we're still short of, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's over 7 million additional grape that could be in Realms. So I think it's not a good idea to write off members that are inactive. It's more productive to leave that window of opportunity for somebody to become active again, because there's things that happen in people's lives that they could be inactive for a while, and emissions just they don't happen. But if they want to participate, I feel like we would be penalizing a very large member base and closing like the door.
Yes.
But
That's why the proposal is 1 vote a month, 1 vote per epoch to be eligible.
And it doesn't need to be like all or nothing. But
Exactly.
in general, I think it's a good idea to incentivize voting, and I also think that's why I thought, okay, if you when you said that, Dean, that we should like ping the guys over on Realms and give the option to abstain, or add the option to abstain. I think it's a good idea. We had the idea of creating proposals on discourse to always add the option to abstain, because I think staking on Realms or transferring tokens to Realms doesn't equal abstaining in a vote. It needs to be a conscious decision. If I'm like eligible to vote in real life because I'm a citizen, and I don't go and vote, I didn't abstain.
Yeah, I think the difference is that you have a proof of activity. In this case, an on-chain proof of activity, that you wanted to be active but you weren't sure.
Yeah, you had the option. You read the proposal. Maybe you didn't come to a conclusion, or you think that that it's not your place to decide or whatnot, and you like affirm that you made the effort, but you can't either vote yes or no, and therefore you abstain. That's way more valuable than not showing up, at least in my view.
I concur. And in live chat, I'm reading that Archimedes and Dean are agreeing too now. And Dynat is saying, what happens to the quorum? How does abstaining count towards the quorum?
Can we clarify that the purpose of the proposal is to add an abstain option or to reward voting? What's more important from the two?
The reward voting is more important.
Yeah.
The second was a response to criticism by Coffee Attack that what happens to people who are just not sure, but they want to be active, and when we get uninformed voters who just vote whatever, and that's not what we want.
But usually during an epoch, we have multiple proposals, and maybe we could have like a proposal which is, should we
The activity proposal.
like send out emissions, or like something that it's binary. I mean, you can't really you can't abstain. You have to sometimes you have to take some like decision for the DAO to move forward.
But you don't have to. Then you don't vote.
You just don't participate. I mean, you have that option.
Yeah, but what about the people who want to participate and want to show that they like engaged with the topic? I think it's valuable to know how many people really at least looked at what's happening.
I want to add this. I'm not very like on a die on a hill for this. Add abstain or don't add abstain. I think I'm good in either direction. I just want to make one clarification. If we do add abstain, it should contribute to quorum, because the concept of quorum is that people are active and there, that they're present when the vote is taking place. So, you know, I don't
There
I don't
are
vote in either direction of abstaining or not, but I do want to say that if there were an abstain option, it should count towards quorum.
yeah, I think
In what
it
direction?
depends on the kind of proposal. Like, if it's a proposal on should this account send funds to Y, it's should it do it or not? I mean, we need the majority to pass the proposal. So by not voting, you're abstaining. It won't pass. I think on binary decisions, just not voting is like abstaining. So when we don't get the quorum and we're wondering what happened, it could also mean that people don't are not for or against it. Not enough support for the actual proposal. But if it was a proposal
Today,
which,
though, because there is no that holds today because there is no abstain option. The
if
moment
there
there's an
was a
abstain
proposal
option,
that's not connected to an instruction, and it's like, do you like the red color, the blue color, or the yellow color, or abstain? Then in that case, it does make sense to have abstain, because maybe you don't like any of those colors. But it's not connected to an instruction.
yeah, in general, like now that I think that the gain we get by asking realms to add an abstain function is very small for the amount of complexity and attack surface it adds. Like,
This is true, yeah.
you know, when I'm looking at the decisions we make and the discussions we have, I'm like, okay, if this is will only add more complexity. So now I've decided that I'm against adding an abstain option. And in the context of like rewarding voters, I agree with Billy that we should be more on a rewarding, positive reinforcement for good behavior rather than um, negative reinforcement for not being part of something. So I would be in support of, hey, people who vote and propose get some sort of emission growth over the standard membership emission, which requires today just to be deposited in realms. I think that alone is a good, it's like, hey, you did the minimum requirement. You want a bit more? This is the new minimum requirement, but you can still get, the whatever APY for the deposit to realms. I think that works for me.
Planet is a frog. Yeah, we can do a boost, which. Yeah, I also think it will be simpler to not do the abstain right now and then work with a boost or with a reduction. Because if we do a boost, then there will be potentially more sell pressure. And last I checked, we wanted to reduce that.
Would the idea be that we're also increasing the membership amount with that boost? Is that what we're saying?
I mean, today we are giving the membership emissions, and now you want to give more to the people who vote. So overall, we would give out more grape.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. So we have to decide, is membership number going up with the release, and who are we making sure stays at membership amount?
Yes, and the thinking was to give
Yeah,
them same membership amount to the
yeah,
people who vote. And what
yeah.
we
If
could
I
do,
ever, yeah, I
what
agree
we
with what you're saying.
Can I make a suggestion that
let
might
me finish
sound
real quick. What we could do is we could give everybody a base amount. For example, let's say 50% of the membership emissions we currently give. And the guys who vote, they get the full membership amounts going forward. Same amount of grape going out, and we still reward the people who are voting and proposing. Go ahead,
I,
Pete.
I would like to add something similar to what you're saying. So currently, even if we move to a two membership model, somebody that would have the amount in between um, doesn't benefit from the APY, right? So maybe if you're voting, um, the the emissions could be tied directly to what's actually in your voting account.
APY.
Like a staking pool.
I don't get it.
So if you have,
Overweight.
let's say you have 10,000 grape, right? Let's say the membership was 10,000 grape. And then the next membership class is 200,000 grape. But you have 100,000 grape in your wallet and you're voting. You're not just passively
Okay. So you're
holding.
taking the number deposited on grams directly
Exactly.
and
So
not
it would
just.
be a massively huge upside
Yeah.
for you to
It's a good
participate in
incentive,
voting.
to be
Yeah, I
honest.
like it because it's also. I mean, you have 100k grape. If even if you don't reach a 200k, you should be rewarded for the 90 plus. You're
Yeah.
exceeding the first 10k.
Plus, we also thought about having those steps in between and make it dynamic. So this could
Yeah.
be a good combination.
I
I
think
like
that
it.
the fact that you're doing, you're actually using your governance votes, um, even though it's still not like the maximum effort you can do in the DAO. I mean, we saw that in the reputation discussion. Um, it would I think it would help incentivize and create awareness around what's the maximum benefit I can get in participating in Grape if I cannot directly provide some kind of skill or complete a bounty on the Grape DAO.
Wouldn't it maintain this sort of like the existing stratification of wealth amongst holders? Like if you have a lot deposited on realms and you're doing it based on some sort of APY based on what's deposited, if you have 200,000 versus someone who has 10,000 and you're using the same yield, then the person who has 200,000 will make much larger gains compared to the person with 10,000.
That's true, but this also opens up the discussion on what the actual inflation of grape is going to be moving forward. With all these changes we're going to make will be. So that number will come from the actual inflation of grape.
Yes, the emissions were always as an inflation compensation kind of thing. That's was the idea, not to give people gains. To uphold your voting power.
Yeah, I get that, but by doing it in this way, it moves away from that somewhat, I think.
How does it?
It's amplified based on your principle. I mean, even if there's some controlled level of inflation, if it's going to be a reward that's based on your relative wealth in realms, it's fundamentally going to be skewed based on wealth.
When you have a cake, you have some percentage of that cake. Let's say 5%. The cake is getting bigger because more tokens come out, and your stake in the cake is growing at the same rate that the cake is growing.
Yeah, but your relative stake to everyone else's will be growing at the same rate. You'll always be poorer if you begin poor.
Yeah, if you don't act, you will always be poor if you begin poor, yes.
But should that be reflected in governance? It's fine, like, I mean, as a financial concept, it's fine, but in governance, should it also,
Well, for example, we haven't
also
taken into account yet what happens if someone gave us enough reputation to maybe set off their small grape holdings, right? We are working on other avenues there, or they could complete a few bounties to become a DAO core role holder.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, go ahead, Billy.
No, my mic got stuck. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah, but I guess like what would be most beneficial, I think, at least in the short term, would be to introduce the reputation parameter so that it can offset this sort of like this sort of yield based emissions for voting. Because if we don't have this reputation parameter or something that offsets that, then we're going to be introducing yield based emissions on voting without having something that lets someone get outsized benefit from something else, from say their reputation or their other contributions.
Hey Patrick, on the reputation side, like let's say we all got together, we've already got the algorithm, we're positive we want to do it. Like I'm weak on the VSR side, the voter staking registry. Like, how fast do you think we could implement this, and who do we need involved to because like in my mind, reputation being attached to governance is one of the most critical things we can do in the short term. So, what do you think the timeline on something like that? We put all of our focus and thoughts and into that priority.
If we want, it depends on how we want to implement it. But in theory, we could get it up and running in just a couple of weeks. But do we want to do 2-token voting where you have a weight from some reputation token on your governance power? Something like that would be fairly straightforward to put in place, especially because Realms already has the 2-token voting piece. The difficult part is really defining what this algorithm is.
Yeah, so it would definitely be 2-token from what I understand, and I know that the difficulty from now for the next who knows how many decades, humanity is going to be trying to figure that out. In my like I've been having personally, I have not been very successful in working with the VSR. Now, part of that is because on our DAO we were 2 votes away from getting it passed, and it failed, and there were some other things in between. But my concern is like just not having those steps ready on the VSR part. On like, what do we need to do as a community to be prepared the moment we've got the algorithm, as far the formula, the calculation, because that's going to be the calculation is going to be constantly updated. There's no way that we're going to, personally, I don't think that we can come up with a calculation that is going to be enduring today. I think it would be, silly to think so. Yeah, I guess the question is, what do we need to do to prepare ourselves for for doing this?
I have to look into the VSR stuff. I still don't quite understand it. So to give you like to give everyone like a solid response, at least relative to that concept, I'm not sure yet. But technically, from like the idea of emitting a second token that is this sort of like reputation weight token, that can be done really quickly. There's not much you need to do to prepare for it, in the sense that it'll just be sent to your wallet, and when you go vote, you'll deposit it on Realms. Like all the functionality already exists for that.
Yeah. Sending people tokens isn't the difficult part. It's going
Yeah.
to be the actual, realms taking in this additional weight and applying it. So maybe you and I can make it a special like project to test this out on a new DAO that we'll just make.
Mhm.
Are you down for that?
Totally. I think it'd be cool to talk with Sebastian to see exactly how like the weight gets programmed into Realms as well.
Okay, so yeah, because I mean, like I think a lot of this discussion around incentivized voting is a stopgap. Well, it accomplishes something else. It's specifically a tokenomics thing, and I get where you're coming from. That hey, it starts to stratify, a certain voting class and plutocracy, and then that's completely stopped with the reputation. So, and I think we can do both in tandem. That way, by the end of this month, if we are kicking ass and we'll be able to have both. I don't know. Does anybody have any opposition to what I'm suggesting, which is like let's try to move forward with both?
Could
No,
you give me a
it's good thinking.
big refresher on VSR?
So VSR is basically the way you're able to have something else added to the way voting works. It's taking an additional variable.
Okay, like reputation.
Yeah, so reputation's one of them. The lockers, the mango lockers we refer to, is another version where it looks at that program and says, oh, because they've locked it here, give them a multiplier on their voting.
Yeah, I think VSR and our thing with voting goes hand in hand. I think it's good.
Okay, so I will sync up with you, Patrick, later today on starting to experiment with this. We'll add Sebastian and then anybody else, of course, that wants to be part of it. Most of this discussion will probably happen in the Realms governance server. And then for this membership emission, it sounds like we're saying give. What did we say now? That we would give 50%. I mean, I want to make the no wait. Billy had the best idea, which was we'll start giving an APY on the holdings. Billy, other than like, because right now most of this is manual work. Would we be setting up something for the calculation and the staking? How do you see that? Like, how do you see that working? What do we need to do?
Well, there will be a way to reward voting on Realms. So there would be a pool like that we could assign, and that could be a proposal. Like at the end of the month, we could probably have a pool, and based on the participation that we got, and that would look at um, the voter records, and they would qualify to claim their reward. It's not done yet, but they're working on that.
Okay, yeah. So for it sounds like guys that a lot of these things, right? We've got the ideas. It's just things haven't been built yet. So when it comes to the membership emission, we should think of now we have an ideal. The ideal, it seems, and we'll put it to vote, of course, is that it should be, like a staking style APY base. As long as you voted, you're getting a certain APY for what you've staked or what you've locked. But we all acknowledge that this is stuff that Realms is building out. It requires testing. It requires all of us to be trying that stuff, and I want to thank people like CryptoPause for continuously trying out new things and going to that server. But in the absence of these tools, is there a membership revamp we want to do that we are 100% today certain we can operationalize? Like I'm very fine with saying, look, membership emission stays the same way, simply because I'm aware of what tools we have to be able to implement anything else. So Dynite, now that we've talked about it a bit more, how, what's your view on membership emissions?
Yeah, I think we should keep them enacted for now. I do like we're introducing some aspect of essentially rewarding voting emissions, which I think is something that we all like constantly talked about in the previous months, but now like we actually have it here acknowledged, and we have the next plan of attack whenever that's built out for us. So I'm okay holding off on the class emissions. I guess eliminating the class emissions. But I would still like to revisit the reduction of the number of tiers we have. We're currently at number four. And whether or not we'd want to make the membership static. Especially if we have a dynamic APY. So once you would obtain a certain level, a certain tier, it would drop off, but it still would somewhat encourage voting. Does anyone have any thoughts on reducing the number of tiers we have?
I think simplifying things is a good approach. I don't know how we can make a membership static at the moment. I was just thinking how we would proceed by, if we remove any kind of tier, what would we do next? Because I would love if we removed some tier, a couple of tiers from the membership. So moving into simplicity, that should be the goal for our first steps, and how we implement this as quickly as possible.
For me, it's something we can probably do slowly, but it wouldn't make sense. We could eliminate one, eliminate the next one. It seems that we've drawn clear distinctions on our memberships, especially with the revamp of Discord. One, the ability to create proposals, which is Neanderthal, and then everything else has kind of been lumped in as we've pivoted Grape. The only argument I've seen thus far is that it would cost. It used to cost more, but now that it doesn't, for me, I don't see that as a strong enough argument to not do it. And the simplification is still, above all else, important to me. If new people are coming into Grape, there's two things. I understand what I want. Do I want to come in here and create proposals and help make
I
the
think
vision?
sorry to interrupt, Diana. I think there are three distinct milestones, so to speak, in the membership right now, as it is practically. One is whether you are or you're not a great member, which means having access to the server and what we do and what we discuss and all the activity here in the community. Second is the Neanderthal role, which allows you to push proposals. And third is being a DAO member. So these are three things that revolve around, being these are certain levels of great membership, so to speak. Because being a DAO member is an aspect of our membership, which allows you to do more things, be more involved, and so on and so forth. So I don't know how we can, fuse these 3 milestones slash aspects slash gates, let's say, into a form of a membership in maximum 2 tiers by removing at least one.
I mean, maybe the flaw was always in tying membership to being able to join the DAO. Because if there's someone in here who is putting in work, is a clearly amazing and talented, then why should they not be able to join the DAO?
Then we should give them more opportunities to either move towards that direction, that amount of holdings, whatever that amount is. But I don't think we should not have any requirement for holdings, because it's another proof of putting skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. Well, basically, if you are inside Grape, there's basically 2 steps you can take. You can become a DAO member, or you can then go further and become a Neanderthal. But what we're kind of keeping out of mind here is all the new guys who just bought a few Grape to look into the server and to chat with us, and who are thinking about joining the DAO. How do they fit in this concept we are doing here? And that's where I always saw the given role. Why kind of maybe it doesn't need to be a membership role, and DAO membership starts later, but we have to keep the new ones in mind. Well, people who are just joining. Ja,
I'm just trying to think about what you're saying, right, and Red, and how we onboard people, that they come in and they join and they want to check in stuff and all that. I'm also thinking at the same time, how many gibbons have you seen lately being very active and involved? What's the percentage of new joiners or lowest class, however you want to call it, that they are involved in the conversation? They're participating, or is it because they don't know what they can do, which means we should improve our onboarding process, or is it that they don't care and they simply are low holders, that they don't care about the aspect of the community here?
I think we don't have a lot of differentiators at the moment. It's only the amount of grape held. The moment we add more things and reputation comes into the game, maybe it is possible to have another way of identifying superstars. But I see the point, and I think we just need more metrics.
Yeah, I agree.
Reputation.
Because we are also very deep into a beer market right now, so when we don't have many new people coming in, maybe it's just because everybody is alone at home with a bottle of vodka and crying, right?
Yeah, and we shouldn't forget that it's harder to participate in terms of like getting a grasp of what we're doing. But then, of course, there is the DAO call, and people could theoretically join, but I think it's the onboarding process in essence.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's the reason for me. I think that's the reason why we don't see that many gibbons lately, or active members outside of those members who are here, obviously. So, yeah.
Yeah, the onboarding process is something else we can visit. When we have people coming in here and are not sure what we can do, we can kind of just do a better job at showcasing. If you like this, you might be interested in Dean's List. If you do this or like this, you might be interested in, GAN or content. Guiding them that way.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget that it's oftentimes hard for people to figure out how they theoretically could help. I mean, we have people joining us who bring value, and those are most of the time people who have their own projects going, and there's a topic or a reason why we interact in the first place. So it's not the casual grape holder who just wants to see what we are doing.
Yep, that's 100% true. And I think it's increasingly clear that our customer, if you will, or the person who's most interested in grape is someone who's building. It's not necessarily the best place. It's not a great place for a newbie. It's a great place for a power user.
Yeah.
But for people who are not intimately checking out other DAOs, I do want to put things in perspective. This call is one of the most attended calls in all DAOs. Like, I'm not going to mention any other DAO. If somebody wants to raise their hand and tell me a DAO that's in Solana that has more people, go ahead. But from my experience, we have a lot more active people. And then the same thing goes for, the quorums we're achieving, the amount of active votes. So, when we criticize ourselves, I'm always happy to criticize. I do want us to also remember that we're at the top of our game. And that's something that, some people who casually come in sometimes and listen to our calls, you guys might not be aware of that. Unless somebody wants to course correct me and say, hey, you have to check out this one, because I check out as many as I can and I don't want to be bashing anyone. There are 100 things we can do better. At the same time, we are the best. One of the things I am looking at doing, and I've shared a tweet about this. You guys might have seen it about a new Discord for Web3 people. My belief is that there needs to be, again, a separate Discord to focus on onboarding. I don't think this Discord will ever be able to onboard correctly. I think every single Discord's going to have a very hard time, especially as a deep and complex DAO will have a hard time explaining and standing out. So I'm working on a concept now for onboarding, and I think it's important for there to be a resource that makes it very clear. Hey, you want to get into DAOs? What's the cost of entry for different DAOs? I don't think it's very clear that the currently the cost of entry for our DAO is one of the lowest. So when we go back again to different membership tiers, I'm a very strong supporter of reduced tiers and increased minimum entry, because we are cheap as far as coming into our DAO, and I think we also give the greatest DAO experience. Maybe that's something that I just want to make sure that we don't think about a membership criteria that makes it difficult for anybody on this call to continue being a member. I think that would be wrong. I think as long as I guess anybody, almost everybody here is a great ape. I don't think there's any gibbon on the call. So maybe that gives us confidence. And then one part of our membership that we haven't re-articulated or talked about, and maybe this is a good conversation topic, is joining the quote-unquote DAO. I don't know what that DAO role does anymore, other than it gives permission for people to come up straight onto the stage. I also think it gives permission for people to put something in the announcement channel. So that's another dimension to look at. Should the DAO role exist? If it does, is it token based? Is it voting based? That's one thing we haven't talked about. And I'm more concerned about that since it's massively unarticulated. Whereas at least the memberships, even though they're not great, they're articulated. Yeah.
It's funny because we started as the best place to start your journey in Solana, and we ended up for the power users. It's like a class that graduated, and having a new Discord server makes sense for the new class.
Yeah, I think that's the case for many servers now. No one can you can't just join the Monkey DAO server, for example, without a monkey. You're not gonna get anything out of it. And then the fact that you can't really even get in to see the value without having the monkey, which is, I don't know what the floor is anymore, but it's probably something like, well, like $4,000,
Yeah, 190.
109 souls. So yeah, that's well close to $5,000 now. It's a pretty high minimum entry just to see what it's like. There might be a way to make an experience, another server, where the Monkey DAO, along with Grape DAO and other DAOs, can give an update to a general public about what they're doing, what's exciting. I like thinking about bifurcating functions for Discords rather than communities for Discords. I think this tribalistic Discord style was great for the beginning, but now I think the entire ecosystem will benefit from these kind of function-specific servers that are built across multiple protocols. I do expect I'm going to put forward a proposal asking for Grape, and my goal will be to go back to the original, like to the beginning days of Grape, where we gave out Grape, connected to different campaigns and different things. OG Bonanza. The major difference this time would be that it would be much smaller amounts, and really using time to pre-qualify people. So I've talked to a few people about this idea, but it's still super early. But yeah, again, the idea would be that give people a chance to earn Grape, just like we used to, but this time really using time and effort as a judge, and really decreasing the amount where we used to do stupid shit like give 150,000 Grape for I don't know, winning Call of Duty. Yeah. Okay. Hey, look, it seemed like a smart idea at the time, but obviously, it is not something that I would vote to continue. But I do like the idea of having structured activities that people can participate in, and just adding more fun again. I think it works, and I'll put it forward the proposal once it's more articulated. And if anybody's interested in this idea behind a DAO that would control the distribution of tokens, of the governance tokens to people, let me know, ping me. The idea is that you would be, this is for people who love Discord, who want to get on stages and talk and organize things, to help decide how we divvy out tokens. And I don't think this is a Grape specific thing. I think this is something we would do along with many other protocols, because that's where the governance token should be, right? It's let's identify people who can contribute, and give them governance so that they can come in and be a part of it. So, Ryder and Dynite, do you guys think we've discuss these topics, or what's next?
Give me 1 second. Let me pull up this thing. So we decided not to eliminate class emissions for now. We're introducing voting rewards as soon as it's available to us. We're kind of waiting on a lot of things like this, but still nice to have that clarified. On the reduction on the number of tiers, where do we stand?
I mean, personally, I would say let's reduce. Let's get rid of Gibbon, maybe. Um, eh, but yeah, overall, I think we should have a higher threshold for people to be participating in the DAO discussions and seeing certain chats. And I think we have a very good, we have the best DAOing experience on Solana, and I think it's undervalued right now. So um, I'm a fan of getting rid of a tier and also increasing, um, the minimum threshold for access to, like a call like this.
I agree. I agree, and I also I would want all the roles to be more expensive in terms of voting power. Even the Neanderthal vote, like I like what we were discussing on discourse. I like the 333, and then make also 333,000 the Neanderthal. Of course, not change the voting in realms, the proposals in realms amount, the required amount, and also add some hidden roles. Get a role for the 1 million. Add some targets for the people that are accumulating. And as we progress and we can add more things on chain, maybe we could read if someone has made like 10 proposals already on chain, can get another role that's like the proposer or something like that. Get the cosmetics into play. That don't really affect your roles.
Yeah, very very valuable points. Dean, you mentioned you wanted to move on, because I think we have talked about this enough now.
Yeah. I think we can move on to reputation.
There was one other thing that I brought up and it got some resonance, that we reintroduced the board that posts the discourse posts on Discord. If I can find it. Yeah. Craig's Craig said it should be the first agenda for today's meeting, so we are behind on Craig's book. Apologize for that. And who agreed? Legend, Godslav, Butter, the Goat, Rito, Craig's, Avid Learner, and Favor.
Can you link that?
Yeah, sure.
We also have a vote for which grape classes to
vote.
keep.
Grape classes to keep. Ah. Now I see it.
Perhaps
skewed
what
it.
might be best.
You
what might be best?
manipulated it.
How?
I'm seeing you. You voted 2 and 3, but not 1.
Well, no one voted for number 3, so I left it there. But what we could do is, if y'all want, sorry, Ryder and Red, we can take this vote to discourse before proceeding, and then we can also incorporate with our other chats from today with membership.
Yeah, I think we should move this vote to Discord. Discourse. These
Okay.
names.
Yeah,
Just
I'll do
because
that.
it's a rather big decision, and Would be better to have it more visibly documented.
Okay. I'll do that and
Yeah, let's get back to the Discord bot, which posts entries on discourse. And because personally, I looked at the mini announcement, mini updates, it's called. If there is a new something happening on discourse, and there was nothing, so I didn't check discourse. And then one day I thought, oh, maybe let's open up discourse again. And suddenly I got like 5 or 8 missed posts and was quite surprised. So I wrote this message in DAO chat, and quite a few people agreed with me, had a similar experience, it seems.
I mean,
So
maybe
yeah, go ahead.
maybe Pause wants to say this because he said over his dead body.
I think what Pause meant, his criticism, or do you want to speak for yourself, Pause?
Yeah, I was looking for the right GIF here, like the Family Guy one. Do not push button. So I guess the reaction to your post was in lieu of that. So what I meant was to I'm I don't have anything against the bot and the announcements, but not in the DAO channel, because when we had it in the DAO channel, it only like spammed us and there were no conversations possible. Maybe we could also reduce the amount of information coming from the bot. I don't know, but or it's a dedicated channel or whatnot. I don't know.
What I would like is to have the same amount of information, so any new post, not reactions or who makes a vote or something, but a new post gets us a bot entry on Discord, and we can put it in its own channel. But I want this to be easy for myself, so I can open up Discord, check what people wrote in the DAO chat, and then at the same time, with one quick glance, can see if there's something new on Discourse happening. That's my point. Yeah.
Maybe what we can do, I don't know. Never mind.
Maybe if someone from the guys who upvoted it, Avid or Favor or Legend, were in the audience, if they want to come up and speak on this.
Speak about the Discord spot.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like I'm the only guy.
So my opinion on this is, if the community wants to see the replies to the topics or the threads, but on Discord, I will move the Discord spot to the mini updates channels, which is
keep in mind, the mini updates channel is open to everyone. Eh?
Yeah, but I will put there the replies that people give to the the topics in Discord.
So everyone will be seeing at least a part of our discussions in Discord.
Yeah.
Everybody can see. If you open up Grape Discourse and you're not logged in, you can read everything.
Okay.
So instead of spamming the DAO channel, which is mostly used now to discuss ourselves, we move to the mini updates channel, and everybody can see, everybody can read, everybody get updates there.
Does that work for you, Pause?
Yeah, sure. I
Okay.
mean, there's always a solution, so I would be opting for that. Like in Better Discord, I would just filter the bot, but that would be a good way.
Don't overcomplicate this.
No, I would do it for me if the bot would be reactivated in the DAO chat.
But I agree, it's a little bit nicer for everybody to have a bot and mini updates and have our own conversation or human conversations in the DAO chat. Okay. Then I guess we're good doing this, right? Great.
Silence
Okay.
means yes, so.
Yeah, yes. Do you need help by Archimedes Legend, or can you change the bot around?
I will probably ask Grape Community to put the webhook on the mini updates channel.
Okay.
So he's listening, so he might be doing now. So we'll see.
Just ping him very quick that he should help you. Okay. Somebody wanted to talk about reputation next. I forgot who, but it was mentioned.
I can pick it up from here. Unless, like Dynite, you wanted to say something specifically about it.
No, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I'll share the link to the spreadsheet one more time in live chat. So this is the result of the exercise. If you go to the third tab or the fourth tab, you'll see the results of everything that we did together. I tried to organize it in a much more structured way because we kind of just did a big brain dump on Thursday. What you'll basically see here is a category of what the source of reputation is. So it could be just like holding tokens, it could be emissions, it's bounties, just like general categories. And then I've tried to like take what you guys wrote in the actions tab and like just structure it a bit more and phrase it so that it's a bit more like universally comprehensible. So you can see that there's actually a lot that we could consider to bring into reputation and into this algorithm that we're thinking of creating. I attached this idea, or I think Dynite like renamed it sentiment. No, it's just sentiment. So whether or not it's good or bad, or how it would be perceived, and we could probably like bring some level of additional precision to this. And then we tried to categorize things as on-chain or off-chain and subjective or objective. Basically, the idea here is that if it's on chain, we can basically just like listen to on chain events and attest to them. So, like, log them in an automated way. Whereas if they're off chain, we would have to build some sort of like integration or a form to collect that. And it would require someone to basically declare that they've done something so that everyone is aware of it. The objective stuff and subjective stuff is basically whether or not there's actually an event that represents the action. So that event can be on chain, but it could also come from some like tool like Trello or something like that. And then subjective, you'll see that subjective can be related to on chain stuff as well. Is basically if we need to define some level of quality or categorize something that is objective in a way that we bring like a subjective viewpoint to it. So you can see here that this is like a pretty complete list. Dean, you mentioned earlier that this is when we begin designing this thing and putting it in place, it's going to be this constantly evolving like algorithm, and that's the only way to see it. So the way we should approach this, in my opinion, is that there's some stuff that we can do fairly quickly. So the on-chain stuff is fairly straightforward. Even anything that's like form related is fairly straightforward because we have a form builder in Lighthouse that can let us build forms to capture whatever fields we think would contribute to validating a contribution. Yeah, and that's just like how this is all structured. So I think like the a good next step might be to say, to categorize these things now by what we think is absolutely important before we even begin thinking about the algorithm. So like, what do we actually need to capture? What is, like of the highest importance? And then we can deprioritize the other things and bring them in one by one after we've got this sort of like foundational layer of what reputation will be consisting of. And then we can move into scoring. And I think that when it comes to scoring, we can maybe treat it in two different ways. So we can think of scoring as a totally fluid system. So every action corresponds to some points or reputation points. Or we can think of it differently, sort of like quests or challenges where you have to complete this, and this in order to unlock some points. That might help us create a little bit, like, it's really difficult to come up with this fluid point system because it requires us to imagine cases where someone votes a lot and then like sells off their grape tokens. Like there's all these different mixes of behavior that would contribute to a reputation points balance. Whereas if we think about it more as quests and challenges, then we really like are able to package value based on what we think is valuable to the DAO. So those are just like my initial thoughts. But I think again, the best place to start is just to tag some of these as like of utmost priority.
Yeah, I think that makes sense as a next step. I definitely have like a few clear. These are essential. So I think it's a great exercise. As far as a timeline, like everybody has access to this now, so maybe everybody can give an opinion by Tuesday's meeting. That way we can hone in on what the essential elements are and discuss it then on Tuesday. Does that work?
I think that's cool. What I can do is on the summary spreadsheet, create columns like we did for sources, where everyone can score them. Just basically say yes or no, this is important, so that we can see what the general opinion is on Tuesday.
Yeah, another option is to like also say, look, you can only choose 5 essential things. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I think your model's better. And like when I was going through it, I was like, okay, well, I would lump these two together, and so I think that makes sense. Add that column, and then you know, uh, if somebody could make a discourse entry for this discussion for reputation, in case there's some other ideas like long form. If no one does it, I'll do it myself. But I think there might be a few nuances that are able to be captured by the spreadsheet. But let's make it a goal that Tuesday, we're coming out of Tuesday's meeting with, okay, these are the variables. Let's make sure we can now gather that data.
That sounds good. I can create a discourse post.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, no worries. Also, if you don't have write access to the spreadsheet, add me as a friend here, and then send me your email address, and I'll share the sheet with you, and I'll create a column for you to vote on what you think is important.
Whoever is playing with the color, stop it. Looked so nice. I like the color. Yeah, okay, so you will add another column where we should vote which is the most important source reputation which should be implemented first.
Yeah, I'll do it right now, like live, so you can see what I mean. But
Okay.
basically, I'll do it in the colored summary tab.
I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad we're doing this. This is such a great topic. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to write about it too. Like I'm starting to build an article in my head. I'm just this is the right structure. This is the right approach. I'm pumped.
Awesome. I like that everyone gets to kind of voice their opinion on this too. It's like really transparent. We showed this to a couple of other DAOs, without showing, like, saying that it was Grape that was doing this. And the feedback was really, really incredible. So I think, like, as a pilot exercise, this is this is awesome. It's really valuable.
Yeah, the only thing I could ask is next time you should show off that it was Grape though.
Okay, I will.
It's going to be a while before not everybody cares about DAOing as hard as we do, and I think that's that's going to have to be part of our motto, shaping up moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Ryder,
Yes.
Dinah, are you guys cool with? I had a few agenda items. If you guys wouldn't mind, I'd like to go over them now.
Come again.
Really quick, I wanted to ask Potrak if he had some time to marinate a bit more on the suggestions. I forget who the other one was, but one, making it anonymous and having a scale from 1 to 5 in the future when we do something like this, because we might be doing something, or we are going to be doing something on Thursday. But did you have any time to think more on that, or?
I thought about the scale from 1 to 5. What I think is kind of interesting about that is that it makes it easier to score this for sure. The difficulty is that if you give someone a number of points that they have to attribute, it forces them to weight what they think is more important. I think that dynamic is pretty interesting. I thought about the anonymity thing, but I don't know how to do it on a Google Sheet unless we do some sort of, like, we do it in 2 steps where we build like a form and everyone submits the response via, like, through a form or something like that. But if you have thoughts on the anonymity thing, I'm a taker.
I mean, off the top of my head, it does seem to make sense with Google Forms. Simply anyone who's interested, we would email them that form.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do see what you mean on having to rank it. I mean, Whale's friend was there for like 30 minutes, really breaking down his scores, which forces him to think on what's really important to him. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it wasn't 30 minutes, right? But you could just tell that there was a lot of thought going into what he would feel is important.
Indeed, a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
I like that dynamic. Like, I mean, when I used to run workshops and we would do this, it really, I mean, you see like this kind of behavior that Whale's friend had, and I don't know. I like that it kind of forces that way of thinking. But
Yeah.
if we want to make it easier, we could totally do the 1 to 5 scoring.
No, I mean, hearing what you said, I personally am for this this number scheme, because then even if
Legend,
they
you,
don't know it, they're forced to think more on it. Sorry.
yeah, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm finished.
Legend also had a point on that too. Legend, are you okay with the scoring system, or do you like the 1 to 5 thing?
I'm fine with this.
Okay. What we can do to make it easier, because there's also a lot of items here, is rather than do it based on 10 points, you could do it with 100 points, so you don't have to think in decimals.
Cool.
Okay. I'll update it like right now or after the call, so that it reflects that.
Hey, Dean, I think you have the floor now.
Yeah, so I'll be fast. There are 2 proposals I'm looking to move forward on chain, just because I think that it's time that these happen. One is for a proposal to send Grape that will be converted into Dean token for a feedback report for grape.art. I think we're at that place. where we should polish all of our products and get everybody's feedback on it now. Is there anybody opposed to that? Like, I just want to make sure I think about all the perspectives before I put that on. What I'm asking is anybody opposed to a proposal for us to send a feedback bounty to Dean's List for grape.art?
No, go ahead. The more feedback, the better. And this goes for every service we are offering, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed, but I would like to give feedback on the feedback report itself, because I was looking at the way the scoring is done and how there was like the discussion that the actual report that's provided to the client is not important if everything's just copy pasted. I think the report is very important to be presented in a way that you get the summary, you see the pain points. So I think that whoever's doing the report, my opinion is that they, even though this is something that the Dean's List sub-DAO needs to look into, internally and agree on, but I think that report itself needs to be a bit more, have like a summary, like of the pain points, and it's just needs to be a little bit more organized and not feel like a copy paste.
Yeah, I like we've heard this feedback before. What one of the things we're doing with Everland that we could possibly do if Billy, if you have the time to do this, or maybe we can do it in conjunction with the next meeting that we're going to set up to discuss the report, is I've asked Everland to choose 5 specific comments that were the most valuable. And it's my hope that if we start getting feedback from the client, we can start to reform this process, because the incentives need to be aligned where the client really is getting the best possible product. So what you just said, that's great feedback for us to think about. Okay, do we now have somebody, because there's one component where we're writing the document, putting it together, copy pasting, whatnot, but then there could be a component within that which is to write a summary, and that could be done by somebody else. Like, identifying how to make the best possible feedback product is what we're trying to achieve. So that input's great. The only thing is I'm asking is it possible for us, as part of the next, like over the next week, if we can get back which were the 5 comments on the GAN report that were the most valuable? We can rank 5 comments.
Yeah, I'll write my opinion, and then we'll on Thursday's call we'll also we'll get that too, so we could do like a comparison of how everything was ordered compared to what actually mattered to the client in this case.
Perfection. Yeah, like this seems to me the road towards making the Dean's List feedback kind of as decentralized as possible, automated as possible too. And then what I'm thinking as part of the client side is if our client is able to give us this feedback within like a 7-day period, we would then give them one Dean token to give to any member of their community. Kind of like a, hey, thanks for making our product better. Here's a incentive to do that in a timely fashion. Okay, so sounds like everybody's on board for the review there. So I'll get that proposal started. The way it will happen is I'll send Grape to the Grape Evil account, and then from there I'll create the bounty and deposit the theme. Okay. On to the second thing I wanted to discuss. I think it would be great for us to discuss sending people to Breakpoint. Now, we just had Dinah go to the Soul Hacker House. From his feedback, it was an essential experience to really understand what's going on in Solana, what we're building, how Grape is perceived, and I also consider this a reward, an acknowledgement also of contributions of other members of our community. I think there's certain things that money can't buy, and being a representative of an organization that's highly regarded and pushing things forward, making history, you can't buy that. That's something that's been earned. It's been earned by everybody that's part of this call. So what I want to suggest is we have a proposal to purchase Breakpoint tickets, just the purchase of the ticket, because here it's a little different, with the hacker house and whatnot. We were able to do that entire proposal for 1,000. In Dynite's case, in my case, it was 1,500. There is no way we would be able to do something similar at that price point per person, because the ticket alone to Breakpoint is 1,000. So what I'm proposing is we think of a model, we start discussing it, where we say, okay, we will send X amount of people. We need to figure out a process where we can, I'm pretty sure I can talk to Solana and we can just buy the tickets without a name. But eventually there has to be a name connected to those tickets. And what I'm trying to avoid is, one, I don't think we should go to the point of having to also pay for the flight and the hotel. 1,000 just for the ticket, I think is good enough. But that's 100% open for discussion. I think we should consider getting anywhere between 5 and, let's say, a maximum of 10 tickets. And then connected with the successful passing of us sending people to Breakpoint, then we should do a subsequent, preparing merch. And that merch can be something that we prepare for, for moving forward, that we have the standard process and the standard design for the hat and the t-shirt and whatever else. But yeah, so my viewpoint would be we do 5 to 10 max Breakpoint tickets. We would, I would ask Sebastian if there's a way we could do it purely like we did the phones. If we could do it all through Realms. I would ask Austin if we were able to purchase them without having to put a person's name. And then we need to think of a process on choosing, if we had 10 people in our community who want to go, have the time, want to spend the money to fly there and spend the money on the hotel. Again, that's my suggestion, that we don't offer to pay for those. Do we even have 5 or 10 people who want to do that? I'm obviously someone who wants to go. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I think it would be really cool for us to send people from multiple angles, as a reward, as an identity, as also as a way to, continue to make plans with other protocols. When it comes to a party in Breakpoint, I'm personally of the belief that the only way we should do it is in association with another protocol or 2 or 3. But I personally don't have the capacity to organize an event. But I see value in us participating to a smaller extent, and capping any spend we did on an event. Max, like 5-10K. Like I really, there's other protocols that spend like 50K, but we're not those guys. So I've thrown out a lot there around this idea. Any thoughts so far on, is this cool? Should we not do it? Should we do it?
I really like the idea. We just need to ensure we don't waste any of the tickets. So it's really important to identify the people that are willing to come and also spend, because, as you said, it requires some money. But yeah, I'm really up for it.
You remember when we had the DAO board, we had people write why I should be a board member? Maybe we should do something like that after we decide the number of tickets we would want to send. Just a suggestion.
I've also signed up as a speaker, waiting a reply on that one.
Oh, for what?
DAO stuff, grape stuff,
You are
Damn.
speaking, Wales.
anything that can represent grape, I will, of course.
Does that come with the ticket if you accept it?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've also applied to be a speaker.
I've already bought tickets for Breakpoint, but this is just an administrative point. The only way you can transfer a ticket officially to a new member is if you have the same domain on the email address. I don't know if there's a workaround for that, but
Yeah,
So
I'm
email, right?
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that because there's like Anatoly retweeted when we bought the phones. Every time we do things in a decentralized way, I think that they'll try to accommodate us. So I'm hopeful we can figure out a way where it's like, if you're not deposited into the same DAO, you can't transfer it or something like that.
I'm sure you could figure it out for sure.
Is there anybody that thinks it would be a waste of money for any of us to go to Breakpoint, or for us to explore this? Or the flip, is there anybody that says, what, if we do this, we should cover flight and hotel?
Breakpoint is what brought me into crypto last year, like as a builder. I think it's the most awesome event in all of crypto.
Where's your raffling, bro?
I think the ticket option is the simplest and easiest to execute, and offers the biggest benefit.
I think the breakpoint ticket is the simplest option, and not including the flight and the accommodation is it's showing some kind of effort and ensuring that this person comes. But because imagine that we say we cover X and Y for this trip, accommodation, the trip and the ticket, the flight and the ticket, and how we can ensure that this will happen up until any last minute cancellations or something.
I like the idea that someone shared, I think it was Dynamite, about us having to, like, why me? I like that idea a lot. I think it's a good way for us to just start gauging, okay, how many people, and what I think it's great. Like, I'd be surprised to see like a Gibbon kind of like be like, hey, send me when moon. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think it would be really good. So much so that I think that we should consider making it a public channel on Discord. I think it would be really interesting. It might get a little spammy. I doubt it, just because we're not in that place anymore. But yeah, I like the idea of people pitching themselves, and I want to make it. I would suggest making it public in Discord.
We could do it public in Discord and campaign on Twitter for this. So tell us why you want Grape to send you to Breakpoint. And of course, if they're great members, that it adds more points into their application, so to speak.
Yeah, I think it should the channel should only be open to, let's say, great apes and above to write in, or gorillas and above. Probably gorillas. I mean, you really shouldn't. I don't know, Chris. What do you think? Like, I
I'm
feel like
really thinking about it. Really thinking about it.
you gotta be a
Like, I would
minimum.
love this. Like, this should be part of fucking reputation. This is your personal blog post over there. It should be following you, this text. And I'm not sure if it should be open to low levels. It should be open to higher levels, because people are choosing to expose themselves a little bit more. I don't think everybody should have the right to see this.
Oh,
I actually
you think it
kind of
should be hidden? I see.
Slightly hidden, slightly. I wouldn't want Gibbons for sure to be able to see or the whole thing. I would like us though to have, to be able to maybe add some mystery and some FOMO if we actually campaign on Twitter, where the link that we're going to be linking all our conversation actually is gated and requires, if it's a Discord link or something like that, to a channel that is gated, people can't really see what's happening. But if they had, the right role, they would be able. So I'd like a combination of the two, but certainly on the, I need to be holding quite a lot of Grape to see what's happening in there.
I personally like the idea of keeping it at sea level and actually sending one person that isn't in the DAO. Because what if they are a power user of Solana, but in another aspect? Like, I think that would be great just to be like, hey, we did send one person. If are able to clearly identify that they are someone who is within the ecosystem. If we had 10.
I mean, I just, sorry for interrupting. No way. In the fact that, like, the level of certainty that the other person's going to go and use the ticket with someone who's like, hey, man, I got $50 worth of Grape. You can trust me. No, like, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see no world where I would vote for that. Yeah, like,
Yeah. I mean,
you
hey,
have
listen, it
zero
was
skin in
Riptide.
the game.
It was Riptide's idea, but I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah,
Also,
like,
Oh man, Dynamite, no
even if you were,
snitching. What are you doing? Why are you snitching on the poor man? Oh,
even
I
if you
thought
were
we're
a
all thieves.
Neanderthal,
shouldn't
even
we
if you
also
were a
focus?
Neanderthal, you have no certainty that the person's gonna, use the ticket. But at least with a Neanderthal, it's like they at least care about our resources and our and our funding. Whereas like the Gibbons, like, this could be funny. Yeah. Send me, dude. Send me. Yeah.
Shouldn't we also like it's a conference. It's not an endless party. So the idea is to go there and represent DAOs and Grape and all these beautiful things that we're living through. Not just go see Lisbon.
Well, I mean, if they're spending money to go see Lisbon somehow, ours is the ticket. But I could see a Gibbon not giving a shit if we spend money on a ticket that they don't use.
Yeah.
It's not one of those. Oh, but like, there have been 10 billion different ways to earn Grape all along. I mean, Dean's List participants have earned upwards of 100,000 Grape each. Like, the list, the excuse of, oh, I have no money, but I'm here to contribute, is that's dwindling down. That excuse is very weak, because if you're active enough, There have been multiple ways for you to have earned your way up. I mean, avid learner alone, he could be Neanderthal like 6 times over. Okay, I'm overdoing it, but avid knows as well as I do. Like if he wanted to be Neanderthal, he could, right? Let's not get into that world. You know, I think it's for the channel, right? Maybe the permissions to write in it. Like I like the idea of this being public, but this should be a discourse. My opinion would be it's open for anybody to see because this is interesting stuff, you know, and I really want other DAOs to at least be able to see some of our experiments, some of our ideas, some of our members writing. But I would think about gating it, and the minimum gate now that we've talked about enough would be Gorilla. There might even be a world where I said the minimum gate is in the end, just because again, like the level of importance of sending a representative and the we would be taking the opportunity away from someone who clearly you know is part of Grape versus you know tangentially, but
Yeah.
I'm not strict on this idea. I'm just speaking in real time. um, this is a great discourse thing, but it seems like we're generally in support of sending a number around what I said, 5 to 10 people. We'll use this kind of idea to understand exactly how many. And then the next step would be an on chain proposal to purchase um, tickets that do not have attendee names connected to them, which is something I'll look into with Sebastian. And then after that, we can look into the merchandise stuff. But yeah, this is something that everybody should contribute into. This could be part of our membership revamp. Thinking about, you know, we're getting phones for people. We're sending people to hacker houses. Now we're sending people to Breakpoint. You know, there's a lot of things that money cannot buy here. The fact that you get to be part of representing and part of an organization like ours. I want us to continuously think about that vein. And then separately, I said this earlier, and it's still a work in progress. We will work on a model for the person who has no Grape to earn Grape. We'll make it a better model. We'll make it clearer. We'll make it easier. I don't want us to overly try to satisfy a phantom concern, because no matter how much I try to look at the situation about earning Grape, I constantly come back to if somebody tried, they would have. Like Dinah, you've earned your way up uh, through the ranks to a certain extent. I know you bought later, but you also earned your way up a lot. I think there's good examples of those people. There's no one should be shamed on how they're treating their Grape or their earned Grape. That's everybody's right. But let's not go to the other extent where it's like, oh yeah, there was no way for 100% people could have earned it. Okay, that's that's my part for the agenda today. Thanks, guys.
Can I add another flavor to this sponsoring Breakpoint tickets and all that? We reward €1,000 to the person that does the best coverage of DAO stuff, panels, discussions, updates of what's happening, what will happen in Lisbon, and we reward them for the best presentation and the best report on this after Breakpoint.
So like you gotta go there, attend, review everything, and by the time you came back, you do this and try to get your refund from Grape.
More or less, yeah.
Sounds good. Means like your community and stuff.
Exactly.
Am I still connected? I haven't heard anybody talk for a few minutes. Hello?
You're still connected. You're still connected.
Ah,
Yep.
okay. So that's cool stuff. We got some good proposals coming along. You know, we've got a proposal for the Grape Art Review. We've got a proposal that, you know, maybe a week from now will go up for Breakpoint. I think the Breakpoint and membership are going to be connected to each other when we start really thinking about, you know, what are we giving and how much trust are we putting into the people that we're giving these things to, right? These are representatives of ours collectively. So it's a really good lens to look at membership through. What else? We're gonna have the. I'm gonna reach out to you, Patrick, later for us to start figuring out how to set up the reputation in Realms. And then Billy and Dynite are also gonna set up a workshop for GAN. Then we said about the bot. I haven't caught what's happening with Archimedes and Legend on the bot side. Well, first of all, thank you, Archimedes, for helping out on it. Guys, what's happening there? Did we have any conclusion or?
I mean, regarding to the Discord bot?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
on
Do we
there.
have next step?
Archimedes is not home yet,
Ah,
so
but he'll help. He's
yeah,
gonna help you do
he
it.
will help with with the webhook and
Awesome
stuff.
sauce. Massive thank you to you guys. Okay. What else would there be to discuss? I mean, the reputation stuff we're going to go over again Tuesday. Everybody's going to start choosing their most importance. I still haven't gotten the funding, Jairus, from the foundation, although they did acknowledge that they're late in paying. So that's a win. Let me think. What else?
Yeah, just as a side note, I talked with Sebastian about staking on a validator through Realms, and it is apparently already implemented in Realms, so we can do that.
Ah, that's awesome. Let's just do it.
We obviously need to choose a validator, but then we can use our soul. I posted a screenshot.
We also have soul.
and
We
left
also have like different types of soul, right? We
Sure.
have some M soul somewhere. We have some soul there. Yeah, this will be a good exercise too. By the way, dude, what's happening with the mango? Because I haven't been paying attention.
There are by certain targets I set, and obviously if I don't hit them, I will buy anyways. But yeah, it's ongoing.
How much USDC do we have left?
Let me see. We have like 125 Sol right now, and yeah, 20k USDC.
Oh, okay. So we got plenty.
Yeah.
We got plenty of dry powder left. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Awesome.
So right now,
yeah,
I bought below 40. So
yeah. Forget
average.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough
Yeah.
to get down below 40 now. I think, and we'll see. I mean, every week everybody expects it to go down, and shit just keeps going up. What do you think on the validator side? Do you feel confident with like would it help if
Yeah, I
we
thought about
pinged
that.
Henko?
We should talk with him again and see what's up with the new validator he set up, because he wasn't
Billy, what are your thoughts on the validator side? What do you think we should do next?
I think we should have a short list, and or we stake on all of them, or we pick the best one.
Why don't we ask validators to pitch themselves to us publicly? And why should Grape stake on you?
Hey, we have 5 soul. Come pitch.
Yeah.
How much soul we are aiming at having? You said 125.
Yeah,
and
we're
20K
talking about right
lives to
now
get.
maybe 150 or something like that. So
Okay,
it's
but eventually
not
it's
that
gonna
much.
be much more.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the much more, not the pennies right now.
What if
I
we
want to
gave
talk
some
about.
reputation to anybody that staked with the Grape DAO?
Opa, come
In
again.
order, like I have soul that I would like to use, for example, at the validator to increase the amount. I'm pretty sure other members also have soul that could go to the Grape.
Oh, that's an
Grape
interesting idea.
So maybe we could give some kind of reputation, voting power. I don't know. Just to increase our weight.
Yeah, I will make a discourse post regarding that because obviously there are a couple of questions that we need to answer.
You'll notice I'm talking about reputations as it already exists. So in my mind, we are already there.
We also had a brief discussion about sending more USDC to the Mango account to purchase said Solana. Last Tuesday, I believe. But that would need to come from the.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
The bigger wallet, right?
how much do you guys think is a comfortable buffer on that? Like, let's keep the treasury, the community treasury at like 100, or should we, what do you guys think?
Yeah, the initial proposal, we had like a bit more than 120K, I think. So that's why I proposed a 75K so that we are at 100K to buy Solana.
Okay, so we would need to transfer an additional how much today?
75.
Okay. I mean, from it's up to everyone on the risk profile there. I think it's fine as if no one has a issue with it. We'll I'll coordinate with the council token holders and we'll get it done. Anybody have a reason why we won't send 75K to the community wallet?
I think we should give an upper limit, like don't buy Sol for 100 or something like that.
Yeah. I think there's two different discussions. One is like, what's the risk on the purchase of Sol?
Yeah.
And then separately, it's what's the maximum amount we ever want our community treasury to hold until we have reputation and no council token. Okay, so we'll get that transfer done. Since we're doing today for time, there was a conversation that was started briefly, I think 2 DAO calls ago, around council tokens, and I had mentioned about en route to our goal to remove council tokens. And then somebody else said, well, instead of removing, why not expand? I don't know if you guys want to talk about that.
Not an easy topic. On top of my head, I'm pretty comfortable with the way things are. So obviously,
Right. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
I would
look,
say that as a priority right now, but
I,
it is something to keep in the back burner.
yeah, sometimes some of these discussions are to make people aware that, hey, this is something to talk about. Like I
Yeah,
want to
obviously.
remind like if somebody, wants a council token or thinks that they should be like, this is something to talk about, because if we don't start expanding, I really think that the timeline will be that, come late September, we'll be deleting council tokens. And that's with the expectation that we've set up, our reputation, and we've set up other things too. But, I do want to put that into thought, because, the ultimate, the natural progression for us is to be as decentralized as possible. Removing the council token does that.
Yeah, before removing it, I would also vote for expanding the holders. I mean, right now, as I said, I think it's good as it is, but I, at the same time, totally acknowledge that it is also a certain amount of responsibility that you guys have. So it's not fair for me to say I think it's fine and don't want to take the responsibility as well. So
Appreciate that, and I think that that is a good reason to consider expanding before deleting.
yeah.
Okay. And in the vein of like bringing up things that, we might forget that we can talk about, at any time, anyone can bring up a proposal to be, for us to change who has access to the Twitter. We can put a proposal forward for me to transfer server ownership, Discord. Like these are things that should be fluid. I know they're not priorities, but it's good for us to always, talk about it, acknowledge it, that these are, collective decisions. But I'm very, I'm fine continuing that responsibility. I have no issue.
Since it's quiet, we're talking on the Solana NFT chat about applying as a community to the youth's whitelist, since with the community wallet could be a fun thing.
I know
As a
there was a moment where you could apply as a DAO. That passed. Like, I know that the biggest DAO with Utes is what was it called? Vandal City.
What is with youths?
It's an
Is there anything?
NFT.
Is there anything stopping us from applying right now?
No.
I mean,
That I believe that the DAO application process has finished. If you're saying, is there anything preventing us from using the Grape wallet to apply? I don't want to do that. Like, I feel like
There
it's
is a
so
big thing.
weird.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
The Utes applications, there were two. One of them was for DAOs. That's passed. Unless if if there is still a DAO application, let's go for it. But I'm
Okay.
No, I don't think it
barely
is.
certain.
I've asked a couple of weeks ago and it was already over. I
Yeah,
asked in,
it's
in the server.
yeah.
That's
The
unfortunate.
hey, I mean, we missed the boat.
Yeah.
We also it's also a shitload of dust. Like I didn't even. It was
That's
funny. I was looking.
15
I'm like,
soul worth of dust if
50
you want.
sold.
dude. I was looking at it. I'm like 375 dust. I'm like, oh, that's not that much. And then I see how much it is. I'm like, what the fuck? Who who do you think you are, sir? 15 soul is insulting. Um,
But if you
but
get it,
yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna
most
get it.
likely was for dust holders before that thing became, news, and they had it already because it pumped a lot upon the application.
yeah, no, and props to them, man. 15 soul for an NFT that it seems like everybody wants to try to mint. That's
Maybe just a good investment to buy some dust now and sell it a little bit before the mint. You can approach it from a different angle.
yeah, that's some of the alpha right there. No, it's definitely viable. Like I know that I know a lot of applications don't hold the 375 dust. Wow, well done on the Utes. They even got into our DAO call.
So what is this you're gonna do, Wells? You're gonna apply.
Oh, I'm not gonna do anything. I just ask
Oh, okay.
if you think it's a good idea. And since people don't think it's a good idea, then
Yeah, I mean, if you can't apply with the DAO, it makes no sense. But I thought there was like another angle here. Did anybody here apply on their own behalf?
I've applied.
With dust or without dust? Because I think without dust, everyone applied.
What do you mean? Like you have to hold dust, right? In
You
order
have to
to
hold
mint.
dust, and you can do it without dust. But
I mean, to
how
mint
many?
the NFT, you require dust, which means
Yep.
if you have dust in your account while you're doing the application, kind of ensures you're gonna mint. So they prioritize accounts that hold dust. Now, without
Yeah.
dust, you're like just saying, "Hey, give me a
It's
spot, and
skin
if
in
I
the
get it,
game, I
I'll pay
guess.
fine."
Revolutionary idea, skin of the game. Wow.
And they've done it really nicely because you just click a button and it just goes through the AMM and buys you the required dust and then gives you a nice green checkpoint or an X if you don't have it. So it's nicely done.
Yeah, great user experience. Yeah, I
But no
applied as well.
workaround for hardware wallets. So fuck that noise.
Oh yeah. I saw you drawing the line there.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna fund it with Solana and then with Dust and then like no.
Well, alright, if that's everything, perhaps this would be a good time to end it. Unless anyone has any final comments.
agree.
All right, good night. You have a good day or night wherever you're at. Bye.
Yeah, enjoy your Sunday.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.